Okie doke. Now I'm gonna gotta preface this. Corey found what I'm gonna say is probably what we've been talking about recently, and he mentioned at the end of the last show about them taking carbon and basically making it into fuel, right? And so I'm gonna just give the floor to Corey because this one has got huge implications for investment possibilities and just the future of tech in general as carbon makes its big suck. Yeah, yeah. I just wanted to see your.
Okay, anyway, so yeah, this one comes well, this particular article, kick it off, comes from CNBC. It just says these companies are sucking carbon out of the atmosphere, and investors are piling in. So I wanted to bring this up because we wanted to trying to get a little more flavor in stock and too, but besides that, this could be quite big, and so trying to kind of look through it. This article in particular talks about a company that's over in Zurich called Climeworks, spelled CLIME Works, Climeworks. And basically they're looking at using some kind of a direct air capture technology to essentially pull carbon dioxide out of the air. And then they have some other things to transfer that to types of fuel for various types of fuel, including Jet A. And this is not particularly a new company. I wanted to also mention a company called Carbon Engineering. Carbon Engineering also has been around for a little bit of time. Originally, I think founded in 2009, if I'm not mistaken. Let me make sure. Yeah, 2009 they founded it. They've got a whole timeline out to do same kind of similar things to doing basically capture air in their plants, the factories they're going to have. And it through some chemical chemistry they can extract that CO2 out of that air, and then like I said, other types of fuels we can burn in various vehicles. They've already done some of this and demonstrated it. So basically 2015 they talked about the pilot the actual process of doing the air capture and pulling some CO2 out. 2017 they showed how they could use that process and then to make fuel out of those. And they've got a whole timeline here. 2022, they're planning their first large-scale commercial plant. 2030, extensive plant rollouts across various places. And then, 2050 is pretty far away.
It's a long one.
For a new tech. But anyway, they talk about widespread global ops for that kind of thing, too. Some big names, some big players are already backing some of these companies. Bill Gates is already behind the carbon engineering firm, an idea there. So
it's Coca-Cola.
What's that?
So it's Coca-Cola.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, they said Climeworks would sell off some captured carbon to Coca-Cola, even Bubbles.
Exxon and Chevron, those are big oil companies, of course, if you guys don't know that too. So big companies are seeing the potential that this could obviously reduce carbon in the atmosphere and help offset all those problems, but also make fuel. Literally, like, do that process and make fuel that you can burn in various vehicles. So it could be a win-win.
I just had a future me thought.
So, this is not particularly new companies. We had talked on the channel before. Wow, it's been a while, man.
It was.
We talked about, I talked about an article that I found about a process.
Which one was it?
It was, I think that one was a process to be flying a jet, capture the exhaust somehow.
Yes.
In the flight, during flight.
Yes.
And make fuel out of that. Not on board, but.
And also an algae one that was out there. That was also going to be another algae.
But anyways, there's some other interesting things there. But this one, I thought these companies have been around a little while. They have proven that this process does actually work. So I wanted to bring it up on the show and let you guys know about it.
So yeah, you bring up an interesting one for carbon capture for jets, and that is, can you imagine that one day there's going to be an aircraft that's just going to chew carbon or carbon dioxide right out of the atmosphere and literally pump it right back in the engines, right? And I know you talked about one of those as well. General Render said, is CO2 the issue, or CO, or any other contaminants for pollution? All right, so as everyone may or may not know, there's a breakup of the atmosphere, right? Which is like 71% nitrogen. What's it like?
Oh, the atmosphere composition?
Yeah.
So mostly nitrogen.
It's mostly nitrogen. There's some oxygen, obviously. There's some carbon dioxide. Then there's trace gases, right? And if I want to make, if I'm gonna go out
Yeah,
on
78
seven-
nitrogen, 21
28
oxygen,
21 oxygen,
0.9 argon, and other
and
trace
others,
gases.
right? So that 0.9 is where all these other gases live, right? And the difference being is, yes, a combination of CO2 or CO are considered some of the more contaminated or pollutants. However, they make up a very small percentage of the atmosphere, yet they're very, very, very influential in how they actually interact with the atmosphere, right? So anytime we can get some of this recaptured or reused or burned off and not have to burn the natural resources that we currently have in order to do it, that's great, because we're just taking stuff that we've already used and reusing it, which is fantastic. So I don't know which one of it's going to be CO2 or CO, but hey, at least somebody's giving it a shot there. Did you find out the one, was it about the planes?
I think this might have been it. This is an article I found. Looks like it might have been January, but it's
Direct capture, carbon capture technology.
the team at Oxford that is looking to do CO2 extracted from air and emitted again when you fly overall. Yeah, I'll have to look at that. That one,
Okay.
I'll have to look up. That was another video we did about
Oh no, it was.
CO2 capture from jets and just converting it right back into.
I think
So,
it could have been this
hydrocarbons
one.
that can
Was it the
burn?
wired one, which was the could carbon dioxide be turned into jet fuel? And I think that there was
I don't
one that
remember-
you were
I don't
looking
remember,
at, and it was carbon. I know you talked about it, so I remember we
too,
discussed it.
But
so.
either way, that was something that we spoke about on the show that wasn't in practice yet. They had done some tests and it seemed to be working, but it wasn't something that was like in a factory they were implementing wide scale like these two companies here in particular, the ones we're talking about now. So that's particularly why I want to bring these up here: the Carbon Engineering and Climeworks.
Cool.
So lots of big backers there. Lots of investment already going on. So if you
Big
guys are
money.
interested, yeah, take a look at that stuff. We'll keep an eye on this as well as these plans do or do not get more traction. So yeah.
Cool. We'll take a look at it. And hey, if you guys have any tips out there or anything else that's related to carbon capture or some of the things or the applications that you might know that are suited for this technology or better investment things that fall into this category, let us know in the comments below, because we want to hear about it from you guys, obviously. And traditionally, like and subscribe. So
share,
we do have
subscribe.
one issue with like, subscribe that we should have brought up at the beginning of the show. We hit 300 subscribers.
Oh yes, thank you.
So totally forgot to mention that. We did hit 300 subscribers, which is great. That's fantastic. We couldn't be happier, right? But in all sincerity, if we look at the number of views that we get, the people that may or may not enjoy the show or not, and how many subscribers we get right now, we're only nabbing a percentage of that, which means that literally over 70% of the people that actually watch the show, and we do know you watch, and for how long, by the way, you're not subscribing. And the only issue that we need is for you guys that if you like some of the content, you want to continually see more of it come from us because we like delivering it. And if you want to be more influential in where the show goes, we'd love for you to speak up, because obviously we don't have a problem with anything people say in the comments. It's really an open show for discussion. Let us know, but hey, help us out and just reach over and hit that subscribe and the bell, because in all likelihood, you know, while we do this as a hobby, if we get a little bit more support, we could bring you a lot more interesting content. And that would be fantastic for both us and for you guys, the viewers. So please, if you got a chance, just hit that subscribe button.